So, when I last left you guys, Katie had just been robbed by a rock, and Brady had just won immunity and given it to Gavin, and things were moving. And those next couple episodes went by really quick. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that was kind of a blur. That 4 days where we had a challenge and then a boot and then a challenge and then a boot. It moved really quick and a lot of stuff happened and it was really hard to keep up. I'm not gonna lie. Um, Man, I don't even know where to start. I guess let's start with the last thing I really remember telling you guys about a vote was I wanted Megan to go, Coco wanted Bella to go, and I didn't really care what happened. Um, so as this vote is unfolding, um, it turns out Bella did leave. There were, I don't think, any votes for Megan. Yeah, it was between Bella and Amanda. And when I had last talked to you guys, I talked about how my side lost the rock draw, but I really didn't think that the other side was super tight. And I was hoping that if our six could stick together, then we could potentially run this merge as long as we could stick together. And as it turns out, for this Bella vote, I believe we managed to stick together. This six kept their votes together, and then the other side, which should have had seven, ended up doing a 5-1-1 because I believe Brian threw a vote to Coco, which, again, doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not quite sure what he's doing in this merge. He keeps saying, like, I didn't want to vote for the person that the rest of his alliance wanted to vote for, but that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if you're that dedicated to keeping a certain person around, why are you not working with them right now? But whatever. I'm not here to try to pretend that I understand everybody's game. It wouldn't be fun if I did. And then there was an Alex vote in there. I'm really not sure who threw it. I've heard rumors that it was Bella. I'd believe it. If she did, she potentially voted herself out of the game because if she had just voted for Amanda with the rest of the alliance, then she would have at least tied the vote, and then Brian probably keeps her. Actually, I don't know who Brian keeps on that revote if he can't vote for Coco. If he's having to vote between Bella and Amanda. Maybe Amanda, which would have been a really, honestly, a better situation for me, because it would have forced him to show his cards to the other side too. But whatever. So Bella goes out here 6-5-1-1, and it seems like hope is still alive, man. Like, awesome. We even the score. It's now 6-6 between the two sides who seem to form during this merge. And we seem to have a real battle here. It could come down to an immunity and who has more people safe in a rock draw and stuff along those lines. And as we gathered our troops and rallied after Bella went home, everybody started to seem a little bit nervous, I guess. I was definitely nervous, 100%, because I knew I was a potential target. And I have these idols, and I'm not trying to go home with two idols in my pocket, but I'm also not trying to burn them when I don't need them because I see those as my ticket to the end. That's the only way I really see me surviving a final six, a final five, because I think I can get to that point. I really do think I can get to the point where, like, there's six people left in the game. The problem is I don't know that I'm going to have four people or three people who are going to try to keep me in a final six. So I'm going to need those idols for final six and final five. And at that point, I just got to hope that I either have a tight ally who's willing to force fire for me at final four or that I win that challenge. But yeah, I don't want to have to burn those idols unless I absolutely need to. And not being immune because Tyler won immunity. And honestly, I had told y'all at the beginning of the challenge that I was facing off against Tyler in round one, and I thought that he was the only person who would potentially give me immunity. And he gave it to Amanda. And I'm not really that surprised. The problem with the bestowal twist for me was that everybody knew I had idols. And even though I had burned one of them and I used it on two people from our side, nobody wanted to give me immunity because I had that immunity available to me and they all knew it. I think the only person who honestly would have done it was probably Coco. Um, so I don't think I was ever getting immunity there. Tyler and Amanda being safe was not bad for me. I consider them really close allies. I would have much rather like a Coco been safe, but it is what it is as far as stuff like that goes. And that helped us a lot because between the two sides, each having 6, we had 2 people who were immune, somebody who would have been tied in the rock draw vote, and then me with an idol if I needed it. So like we could have made most of our side immune. We could have really bolstered our numbers. And the vote comes down. I guess let's talk a little bit about leading up to this vote because I was putting in a lot of work with Alex in particular, trying to get him to vote with us. I kept telling him, like, nobody really wants to go to Rocks. You don't want to do it. You've already done it once. If you vote with us, I'm not stuck to this side. I'm trying to tell him, like, I just need you to show me some loyalty so that we can take a group and form a new majority. That's what I was really trying to pitch him because I don't think he would have felt safe on our side of 6 as with like him as the 7th number there. I don't think he feels safe there, and I don't blame him for not feeling safe there, which is why I'm trying to pitch to him something else. But I need him to show me some loyalty first. I need him to vote with me here. And he promised me that he would. And as of now, I don't believe that Alex voted out Mike. But I think there's a chance that Brady actually voted for Gavin both times instead of flipping on the revote. I think there's a potential for Alex to have actually been the one who voted for Mike to go home and then flipped to Gavin on the revote there. I wouldn't be surprised. Just because of how sketchy Brady acted during this vote, and that's kind of the meat of this confessional here is what happened with Brady, because I knew Coco didn't feel comfortable going to Rocks for Gavin, especially for Gavin. She wasn't willing to risk her game for that. And I understand that. It's unfortunate for me that she wasn't, but I understand it, and she told me beforehand. Brady told me that he was locked for Mike and that he was sticking with Mike on the revote. Once again, lying to my face for like the 5th, the 6th time in a row at this point. Like, this is getting absurd. And like I said, it's not the fact that he did it. It's the fact that he didn't tell me about it. Coco told me about it. Coco was honest with me. She wasn't willing to force it for Gavin. I think that's bad for our game. I explained that to her, but I told her I don't blame her because she was honest with me. I can't be mad at her for being honest with me about how she feels in the game. And that's part of working in a duo. And I think that's part of why me and Coco are such a successful duo, is because we understand that we're going to have different feelings on the game at points throughout the game, and we're both going to have to make compromises in order for this duo to actually work. And I think that we're 2 of the people who understand that the best in this game and are most able to we're most effectively able to utilize that, because she's given at points where she wanted somebody else out and she went with me, and I've given at points where I wanted somebody else out and I've gone with her. And yes, we both would have had to stick our hand in that bag of rocks, but just because I had 2 idols and was willing to do it doesn't mean that I have to expect her to be willing to do it for somebody that she didn't trust. And I trusted Coco more than Gavin. Gavin was in that top tier of trust, but Coco was higher in that list. Coco is the top of that list. She is the one that I trust 100% implicitly. And it's paid off. It's paid dividends so far. And I intend to continue maintaining that relationship. I do think it's not necessarily bad for me that Gavin left the game. I think Gavin is actually a potentially good jury vote for me. I do think that, especially considering the fact that I was the only person on our side who was vulnerable, who was willing to draw a rock for him helps me. I think the fact that he knows I have an idol and I was willing to do that also helps me because it proves to him that I was loyal, especially where a couple other people in our alliance weren't. And as unfortunate as it was to see him go, having that jury vote there where I didn't ever have to actually turn on him is not a bad thing for me. Um, it is unfortunate that he's gone though, because Gavin was a target. Obviously, even like I understand that people are still scared of this idol, and like they all know I have the Boonikin idol, so they're scared to vote for me because they know if they do, one of them could potentially go home. Um, but the problem with that is at some point they're going to have to flush it because they're not going to let it get down to the point where I can play it on myself 100%. Like they're not going to take me if the sides right now stand after Gavin leaves, if it stands at a 6-5, they're not going to take me down to a final 7 where I'm the only person left in the game for them to target before turning on each other and try and flush that idol because then it just gets messy. And if they do it wrong, then I end up, going the distance with that idol. So they're going to have to try and flush it eventually. They actually tried to flush it, I think, at the Gavin vote because Megan told Gavin that I was getting votes. And Gavin came to me and told me, Megan told me you were getting votes, so I think I'm the target. And he was right about that. He was 100% right. If I had listened to him and been so inclined to play another idol on him, I could have saved him. And I believed him when he said he was getting votes because of the way he phrased it to me. The way that he said, Megan told me you were getting votes. The way she said it makes me think I'm getting votes. I think that's 100%. Like, he had a really good read on that. So even though he was a target in front of me, and even though he was a good shield, I'm not necessarily disappointed that he's gone. I am, however, disappointed that we lost the numbers there. Because as it stands, as a 6-5, it looks like we're in the minority. It looks like there's a solid 6 who stuck together on that revote, and then there's 5 people who did not stick together on that revote, and Gavin sitting on the jury. So things are looking a little bit rough. Thankfully, I have those 2 idols in my pocket. Alex is promising me that he didn't vote for Gavin the first time, which would be great if he didn't, because that means that I could trust him that much more, because I wouldn't have blamed him for flipping back on the revote and not forcing rocks there. But yeah. He also told me, I went to him right after the vote and I was like, so I'm basically fucked, right? And Alex told me, you're not, don't worry. He was like, if you need to play the idol, I'll tell you, and we're going to figure this out. So I think Alex is honestly still really open to working with me. I think I trust that after, I'm not going to lie, I went back and looked at the Celestial Isles game account, and I was just kind of reading through some of Alex's chats and looking at the voting chart for that season to kind of see how he was talking to certain people and then how he would vote at that tribal, just to kind of get a read on how much of a snake he was really being, because he played with Dominic. He went Final Four with Dominic, and it wasn't a choice to go that deep with Dominic, obviously. Like, Dominic would have gone out Final 6, Final 5, Final 4 had he not won. But Alex was willing to take him a lot deeper than a lot of people who were in that season were. And he was willing to kind of work behind the scenes with Dominic, which I think is a really underrated part of Alex's game. I do think that he likes to have deals on the side, kind of like I do. And I just think that sometimes those deals don't pan out for him because he's not quite as good at maintaining that relationship with certain people to make them feel comfortable with him not voting with them, but still working with them. And I'm one of those people who, like, I don't care if you're voting with me, as long as you're passing me some kind of valuable information, I consider us working together. So, yeah, I think that relationship with Alex could really come in handy. Abby, again, I told her before the vote that she wasn't getting votes and that she didn't need to play the idol. I came to find out later from Abby that Brady spilled the entire plan to the other side before the vote ever happened. He told Abby she didn't need to play her idol, that we were trying to flush it, which was true. He told the other side that we were targeting Mike, not Abby. He told the other side that he would vote with them, but only if they voted for Gavin. I assume because the Gavin vote was the first tribal Brady has gone to in the merge that he was not immune for. And Brady got paranoid because he knew he had been playing like a lying little fucking snake. And he realized that it was catching up to him and that if he didn't do something, he was going to get targeted. And he probably would have gone out there the same way that Gavin went out, because I don't know that anybody was really willing to stick their hand in a bag of rocks for Brady either, especially me. um, so yeah, he sold us out. He hung us out to dry. If he did vote for Mike the first time just to see if anybody stuck or anybody flipped, I guess that helps his case a little bit, but he still sold us out. He still sold Gavin out hard. He threw Gavin under that bus hard. And it's another. Brady is consistent and stable in his gameplay, but only so far as how messy his gameplay is, right? Like, he is consistently and stably messy. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous to work with because if it comes down to it, I know he's always going to pick his own short-term survival over the long-term survival of our alliance, if that makes any sense. Brady is not going to be the one to stick his hand in a bag of rocks, even though it would give us the numbers potentially. Like, if everybody had agreed to draw a rock there, it would have been 5 from the other side drawing rocks and 3 from our side drawing rocks. We had the numbers in that rock draw to where, statistically speaking, we had a better chance of surviving. I get that it's fucking terrifying. Trust me, I'm the one who had 2 idols in my pocket and still voted for Mike on the revote. Was willing to put my hand in that bag of rocks because there was a really strong potential for that 6 in particular, that if we had all survived that rock draw, that we were the final 6. And I think in that final 6, I hold a lot of those cards, especially given the 2 idols, and that would have worked out really well for me. It's unfortunate that it didn't happen. It is what it is. But Brady is not going to be the one who's going to do that for me. Like, if I was in that situation, Brady would have voted me out there. So, that being said, Brady's still, like, working with me. Like, okay, I had this conversation with Brady. I think I'm going to attach a screen recording of it when I send this confessional in the chat, just so that y'all can see what was said, because I don't have really the time to talk through it, and I'm not going to do it any justice, because it's been, like, 24 hours since we had that conversation. I'm not going to do it any justice because it was... Malcolm told me it was one of his favorite moments of the season, one of the highlights of the season. That conversation, it was a fight, honestly. I screamed multiple times, and so did Brady. Like, I'm not usually one to use, like, all caps to simulate screaming, but I used it multiple times in that conversation. So I'll get that for you guys, and you can read through it. But needless to say, I was very frustrated with Brady after the way that tribal went last night, after he lied to me again about the revote unnecessarily, because Coco told me the truth, and I'm not mad at Coco. So, yeah, it's frustrating to just be lied to over and over again. And Brady kept telling me, he was like, Gavin was running the show, Gavin was controlling us, he needed to go anyway. And I was like, it didn't matter. None of that matters, because you realize we are now down 6-5, and that you may be confident that Jordan and Mike are going to flip, but nobody else is, and that's because Jordan and Mike probably aren't going to flip. Whatever plan Brady put in place to guarantee that he was safe after Gavin left, I don't think it holds any water. Honestly, I don't think that it holds any merit with the people who made that deal. I think they were selling Brady literally whatever Brady wanted to hear at that point to get him to agree to not force rocks and to send Gavin home. And it worked, because Brady was so fucking scared after digging his own grave that he was willing to, listen and believe whatever anybody told him. It was easy for him to believe it because he wanted to believe it, because he wanted to believe that keeping himself safer was the best move for his game, and it just wasn't, unfortunately for him. It was a bad move, 100%. I wouldn't be surprised if Brady goes out at this next vote. Honestly, I just wouldn't. It would be unfortunate, but at this point, it wouldn't be at my hand. I intend to stick to this alliance for now, especially because I got immunity. I finally pulled out my first immunity win in your game. It took me 12 tries. I competed in 12 individual immunity challenges before I got this win. And honestly, I'm really glad I didn't get bestowed immunity. I'm pissed that Brady told me and lied to me that he was going to give it to me, but I'm really glad that I didn't get bestowed immunity in this game. It would have kind of been shameful to me to have my first immunity win in your series be one that was given to me. I'm glad that I earned the one that I got, and I broke a world record in the process, not at your game, inspiring people to break world records just to stay safe in it. That's super funny to me. My back was up against a wall. I didn't want to have to play these idols at all, and I did what I had to keep myself safe. I stayed up 7 hours doing that challenge over and over and over and figuring out the only way I could think of to get as far as I could. And 107.5, I'm fucking proud of that. And I'm proud of that immunity. I think I earned it 100%. And it keeps me safe. It guarantees me Final 10 with the 2 idols. It basically guarantees me Final 8, which is absolutely crazy to me at this point. Because having won this immunity, I am now 4 tribal councils away from a point where if I can sit on those idols for those 4 tribals, I will be guaranteed Final 4. If I can get to Final 6 with those 2 idols, I am guaranteed Final 4, which is absolutely crazy. If anybody lets me get to Final 6 with both those idols, they're absolutely insane, except for Coco. Which is why she's the only one who knows about it. So I don't really know what I want to see happen. I guess let's look at this. Let's look at who's left. If I had my pick of who would go next, it would still be the same. It would still be like a Megan or somebody like that, just somebody that I don't have a relationship with, but I just don't see it as feasible. I think I'm going to have to talk to the other side a lot. I think in particular, I'm going to have to be the one who does some work for this tribal. Thankfully, I have, hopefully an easy night at work tonight, so I can kind of be on my phone doing a lot of this strategizing. Because I have immunity, I think people from the other side are going to be a little bit more willing to talk to me, because I am not a potential target tonight, 100%. They can't vote for me, which is a crazy feeling in your game because I'm used to just votes being thrown at me. I think at this point in your... Actually, what's funny, at this point in your season 2, I think I had exactly as many votes against me as I do this season. I think I had 4 because I got those 4 at the first merge vote in season 2 that were canceled with the merge idol. And I think I have 4 right now. No, that's funny. Anyways, I don't know who I want to see go. I don't particularly care. I don't have a potential target in mind. And honestly, I was thinking about this tonight because, a lot of people talk about how, great Survivor gameplay is gameplay that, steers the season and, you were the deciding call and you made the choices and all these things. And that's not really what my game focuses on at all. I'm not really one who's it has to be this person, then it has to be this person, then it has to be this person. I'm one who just kind of I want to know where everybody's at. I want to make sure that I'm good with as many people as possible. And I guess it relays well, at least on Twitter, because it seems to have been effective. I've never lost a final tribal council. So my gameplay works, but it's not focused on getting out specific targets. It's focused around keeping myself safe and positioning myself in a good spot, rather than making sure that I'm getting out somebody, because there's more than one way to position yourself. You can get out people to try and position yourself, but it's a little bit more complicated to do, where a social game like mine is a little bit easier to just position yourself to where you're everybody wants to keep me at least one more round. So that's really what I'm focused on right now, is making sure that I'm good with people. If I had to pick, I don't care which one of the other 6 goes. I just want my 5 to stick together. Brady, Tyler, Coco, Amanda, and me. Oh, I did talk to Malcolm earlier in a little text confessional. I was watching my last confessional back before I did this one, um, and the more I listened to myself talk, the more I thought it made sense for my long-term game for Tyler to go soon. And that's going to sound funny because I talked even in the last confessional about how Tyler was in that top tier of trust. And me thinking Tyler going is a good thing for me has nothing to do with, hey, we're being loud. It has nothing to do with the fact that I don't trust him. It has everything to do with the fact that other people don't trust him. I trust Tyler 100%. I think I can be honest with Tyler, and I think Tyler is being honest with me. I don't think other people trust Tyler, and I think if Tyler went, those other people who don't trust Tyler would be more willing to work with me. I think like Alex in particular was really the one that I was thinking about. I think Brian also. If Tyler were to go, I don't think it would be bad for me. Like, if I had to pick one of the 5 to go tonight, based on my conversation that I had with Brady, you would assume it would be Brady. But honestly, if I had to pick one of my 5 to go, I think it would be Tyler, because I think it opens up doors for me to where I can kind of blow this merge wide open and force a couple people to make a move that benefits me and finds a new majority. Because these 2 sides that we're in right now, they're not going to work out well for me. There is no real good situation. It's going to take 2 tribal councils where things go my way for me to come out on top in that situation. And based on the way the numbers are right now, there's no real way that happens. So I think if I had to pick somebody, it would be Tyler to leave from our side so that I can potentially pick up an Alex and a Brian or an Abby and try to put together some kind of like weird conglomerate majority to try and run this middle merge portion of it to where we're getting to the end game. It's a little bit harder because I have that idol that everybody knows about, and it makes it a little bit scarier for them to work with me. But if they do, I think it could benefit all of us. Yeah, Tyler, he's good. He's good. He's one of my great friends, but I think he's holding my game back right now. I don't think he's necessarily hurting it, but I think he's holding it back. I don't think I'm able to play to my full potential because Tyler is here and because I am so close with Tyler. And there's no point in me turning and voting out Tyler because of how strong that trust is. I think if I were to turn and vote out Tyler, that the other side would be less inclined to trust me, because if I was willing to do it to Tyler, I'm willing to do it to any of them. But if I can plant the seed in Alex's mind that Brady is the bigger threat and therefore the bigger shield if we kept him around, because it's still only final 11, final 10, and if we kept Brady around, he's not going to win out to the end, so he's the bigger threat to keep around in front of us, then maybe he would go after Tyler and he could convince the other side to go after Tyler this vote. Tyler goes out without me ever having to actually vote against him or actively really, technically I would be campaigning for him to go, but if I do it right, nobody would ever know that I was campaigning for Tyler to go. And I think that if I were to get into an Alex or a Brian or an Abby's head and get them to get rid of Tyler, it could really benefit my game down the line. Tyler, if you ever end up seeing this confessional, I'm so sorry, dude. I love you with all my heart. You are one of the best, but it's a game, and I'm going to actively do what's best for my game every time. And just based on the way this season is playing out, the dynamics that are around, you don't have the connections that can carry me deep, where other people have connections where if I can get them to be connected with me, I'm suddenly going way deeper. Everybody you're connected with, I'm already connected with 100%. Everybody that Tyler is good with, I'm better than Tyler is with. Me and Brady are better than Tyler and Brady are right now. Me and Coco are better than Tyler and Coco are right now. Me and Amanda are better than Tyler and Amanda are right now. Despite the fact that Tyler gave Amanda immunity, I think Amanda 100% is better with me right now because we are both better with Coco right now. And those are the kind of connections that I need, the people who can, kind of help me build that spider web that's going to keep me safe, where you have angles at all sides coming in. And unfortunately, Tyler just doesn't have anything to offer with the other side. They all want him out a lot. They've all voted for him a couple of times at this point. Like, they want him gone. They don't trust him. And because I'm associated with him, I think it's holding my game back, unfortunately. So it is what it is. If he goes, I hope it's not in my hand. If not, I hope somebody from the other side goes that I'm not particularly close with. A Megan or like a Jordan or a Mike at this point would probably be the best thing for me if somebody from that side were to go in the unlikely event that that happens. If it does, I'm not going to complain at all, but I don't necessarily see it happening, and I think Tyler is my best kind of thing that I can try to position myself with. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to have conversations with people when I wake up because I was not able to get to it last night. I was very busy, and I'm about to go pass out. But I definitely wanted to get this confessional in for you guys. I'm sorry that these kind of middle week confessionals are really hard for me to do because of the work schedule and everything. And it's hard to find time to sit down and actually film them. But I wanted to get this one in for episodes 10 and 11. So I have immunity. I'm not going home. Oh, I am 100% going to at least make it as far as I did in season 5. Or, excuse me, in season 2. In season 2, I was voted out on day 23. And because I won tonight's immunity, Tribal Council will happen on day 20. Friday will be an off day, day 21. Saturday will be the challenge, day 22. And then Sunday would be the next potential tribal that I could be voted out at, and that's day 23. So I will officially make it as far as I did in season 2. I'm very proud of that. I talked about in my, Confessional 0. It'd be really cool to make that last week of the game, get to day 23, and, kind of make it that far. That's a good milestone. And, as far as it looks, I should go a little bit deeper than that at least because of those 2 idols. So I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm glad that I have this immunity. I think it's going to help my game. I don't think me winning this challenge hurts my game in any way. I don't think it adds a target to me in any way. Just because I've already got that established challenge target, nobody is coming after me for winning that challenge last night who wasn't already coming after me for everything I accomplished in the pre-merge. I absolutely dominated in that pre-merge challenge phase, and I don't blame people for coming after me. I proved that I'm a force to be reckoned with. I proved it again last night when I set a world record for that challenge. So I don't think it hurts me at all. I needed that immunity to guarantee my spot, especially because there would have been so much confusion with a 6-5 had I not been the one that was immune. There was a high likelihood that an idol got played by me. Not gonna lie, it's just at that point. So I'm glad that I got it at this particular vote because it buys me time to try and position myself a little bit better for the next votes to make sure that I don't have to burn those idols unless I absolutely need to. So a lot of moving parts are happening right now. I'm excited to see where we go, and it's super late, so I'm just kind of dragging at this point, and Georgie is ready for bed, as y'all can tell, so I'm just going to go to bed. But I will catch y'all tomorrow night after Tribal, and we will walk through what happened, what went down in the strategizing leading up to it, and y'all have a good day. Looking forward to making it to this Friday off day.